True love is not found in the intensity of fleeting passion, but in the quiet consistency of everyday devotion. The kind that endures storms, celebrates small victories, and patiently nurtures the connection when life grows complicated. Because its foundation is not temporary desire, but the unshakable choice to remain, no matter the season. The deepest sign of true love is when someone values your soul more than your image, when they stay to understand your silences, not just your words, and when their care extends to your wounds as much as your strengths, creating a love that heals rather than harms. Love that is genuine will not demand perfection, but will embrace your flaws, nurture your growth, and celebrate the imperfect humanity that makes you beautifully real, proving that love is not about ideal images, but about authentic souls. The greatest measure of true love is not how loudly it declares itself in moments of ease, but how faithfully it remains when life becomes difficult, uncertain, and heavy, showing that loyalty is stronger than circumstance. True love shows itself when someone chooses you again and again, not because circumstances are perfect, but because their heart has decided that you are worth every effort, every sacrifice, and every day of their life, no matter the challenges. A subtle sign of true love is when someone's presence feels like home, when their embrace quiets your chaos, and when simply being near them brings you peace deeper than words could describe, because comfort is love's truest language. True love is not about how someone makes you feel in moments of excitement, but how safe you feel in their presence during your most fragile, uncertain, and vulnerable times, where you can be weak and still be accepted. The power of real love lies not in fireworks or drama, but in the soft strength of consistency, loyalty, and patience that never wavers even when the world feels unsteady, proving that lasting love is built on steadiness, not spectacle. A real sign of deep love is when someone listens not just to respond, but to truly understand, when your unspoken feelings are felt, and when your silence is heard more loudly than your words. Because true love pays attention even in quietness. True love can be recognized when someone stands with you not only in your victories, but also in your losses, when their loyalty shines brightest in the darkest hours of your life, because their devotion is not tied to circumstance, but to commitment. True love does not demand constant performance or endless proof, because its foundation is trust so strong that silence feels safe, absence is temporary, and mistakes are forgiven with grace, turning flaws into threads of intimacy rather than cracks of division. The sign of real love is in the way it stays when staying is not easy, when distance stretches between you, when life complicates your path, when misunderstandings rise like storms. Yet through it all, true love weathers every difficulty with patience, forgiveness, and unwavering belief in the bond. True love reveals itself when you no longer feel the need to hide your shadows or mask your fears, because the one beside you steps into your darkness with light and helps you embrace your vulnerability, turning fragility into strength. Love in its purest form does not compete with your dreams or diminish your individuality. Instead, it celebrates your uniqueness, supports your ambitions, and walks with you as a partner, not as a chain, through every chapter of life. The quiet sign of true love is in the way it makes ordinary moments sacred. The shared silence that feels like music, the simple meals that feel like feasts, and the everyday presence that feels eternal, turning life's routine into beauty. A love that is true does not measure itself by the intensity of passion alone, but by the depth of understanding, the comfort of presence, and the patience of support that endures beyond emotions. The presence of true love can be seen in how it creates safety not only in your joy but also in your sorrow, holding space for your emotions, sheltering your heart, and assuring you that you are never alone, even in silence. Love becomes real when it teaches you that strength is not always independence, but sometimes surrender. The surrender of letting yourself be cared for and carried through difficult times by someone who truly loves you. One of the greatest signs of true love is that it transforms your definition of home, not as a place, but as a person, whose presence becomes your sanctuary, whose soul you recognize as the safest refuge you could ever know. The clearest evidence of true love is not in words spoken once, but in actions repeated daily. Kindness when it is inconvenient, patience when it is hard, loyalty when it is tested, because love proves itself in consistency, not declarations. True love is present when someone remembers the small details about you, not because they were told to, but because they truly listen and care, weaving those memories into thoughtful actions that show how deeply they value your essence. A genuine sign of love is when someone stands with you in silence and you still feel understood, where the absence of words becomes as powerful as the most eloquent declaration of affection. Real love is when someone encourages you to grow beyond them, to explore your individuality, and to become the best version of yourself, without fear of losing you in the process. True love reveals itself when someone forgives not once, but endlessly, not because they excuse everything, but because they prioritize understanding over anger and compassion over resentment. The beauty of true love is seen in the sacrifices someone makes, not to gain control, but to bring joy, ease, and comfort into your life without keeping score or demanding repayment. Love becomes undeniable when someone chooses patience over irritation, kindness over harshness, and calm over chaos, creating a relationship that becomes a safe sanctuary instead of a battlefield. A real sign of love is when someone looks at you not for who you've been or who they want you to be, but for who you are right now, embracing both your growth and your still healing scars. The quiet presence of true love is when someone respects your boundaries, honors your space, and yet remains unwaveringly close, showing that love is not possession, but partnership. True love shines brightest when you face your darkest struggles, and instead of turning away, someone draws closer, determined to face the storm with you hand in hand. The subtle depth of love is found when someone chooses to understand your moods, respect your silences, and still delights in your presence even when you're not at your best. True love can be measured in loyalty, the choice to remain even when tempted to leave, the devotion to nurture even when drained, and the persistence to hold on even when letting go might be easier. A real sign of true love is when someone celebrates your success with genuine joy, not envy, and supports your failure without judgment, offering encouragement instead of criticism. Love is true when someone values the journey more than the destination, walking with you step by step through the unpredictable path of life, knowing that presence is more important than perfection. The strength of true love is not in avoiding conflict, but in navigating disagreements with respect, listening without defensiveness, and choosing resolution over pride. A subtle sign of real love is in the way someone inspires you to become softer, kinder, and braver, not through demands, but through the safety they create in their consistent devotion. True love is revealed not only in passion, but in patience, not only in romance, but in reliability, and not only in words, but in the daily actions that build trust over time. The presence of true love is when someone's arms become your refuge, not because they erase your struggles, but because they give you strength to endure them with courage. Love shows itself when someone chooses honesty over deception, transparency over secrets, and trust over fear, because they value the bond more than their own ego. Real love is when someone sees not only your beauty, but also your flaws, and yet finds both equally worthy of their admiration, devotion, and tenderness. True love is subtle but profound. It does not always speak loudly, but it always acts loudly, through loyalty, care, and the unwavering choice to remain by your side every single day. True love is revealed when someone accepts not only the chapters of your story that are beautiful, but also the ones filled with pain, and still chooses to walk with you through every page as if your life is worth embracing in its entirety. A genuine sign of love is when someone remembers the dreams you whispered in passing, holds on to them as if they were sacred, and encourages you to chase them even when you begin to doubt yourself. True love does not try to mold you into someone else, but instead celebrates who you are, while patiently supporting who you are becoming, never rushing your growth, but nurturing it with care. Love reveals its strength when arguments do not lead to division, but to deeper understanding, because both hearts choose healing over pride and connection over distance. A subtle but powerful sign of real love is when someone notices your struggles without you speaking, and they step in to offer comfort, not because they must, but because their heart cannot ignore your pain.